I want you to know that if you have ever had a dog, a cat, whatever animal, and you just threw them out of your home or left them behind when you moved, you are going to experience the worst fucking karma in the entire world, even if I have to make it happen myself. I will personally orchestrate your misery for the next 6 months because you are disgusting. You are disgusting. They're in your home. They're used to you. You're their safety. You're their people. And you just abandon them and leave them to die on the streets. Or leave them, yeah, you leave them to die on the streets. Like, fuck you. And it just breaks my heart because they'll either die on the street or end up in a shelter where they will be euthanized. Like, that shit is evil. Do not get a pet if you are not prepared to properly rehome them should that come up, because I get it, things happen, people have to move and they can't find a place that accepts pets. Like, so many different factors can go into it. I understand that part. I don't expect that everyone can keep a pet forever. Things happen. But to just leave the pet behind and not make sure that they have a home is like they become like a member of the family. So the fact that you can just abandon them and not make sure that they have a home to go to where people will continue to love them for years to come is so fucking demonic. It's very demonic. It's very sinister. And I know the kind of person that you are if you do that. It makes me so fucking sad to see them at the shelter, the most like beautiful, amazing, like sweetheart dogs. And it makes me miserable that I can't take all of them home with me. Like, I don't know how you can just do that. Like, especially if you've like had them since they were young or they were a rescue or something like that. Like, you have no fucking heart, truth be told. And that shit makes me so angry. Like, just don't get a pet if you're not going to make sure that they have a good home when you can no longer take care of them. Just don't. Right now, I'm the person that needs to hear this, but maybe you do too. Being a woman is not about how much pain you can endure. It is not about hurting yourself and sacrificing yourself for others just so that you can say that you're strong. Just because you can theoretically handle certain things does not mean that you should. Just because you can wear those uncomfortable ass heels all day doesn't mean that you have to, or it doesn't mean that you should. You are not going to be given a gold medal at the end of your life for how much you were able to endure, how much disrespect you could tolerate, how much people could put you through, how much you could do things by yourself when you were supposed to have assistance, how much you could alter your body in ways that didn't feel comfortable or practical or enjoyable to you. We are not meant to just endure and endure and endure. We are supposed to live and enjoy and have practical, enjoyable lives just like anyone else. Actually, men don't deserve that, but we deserve it. Really start to check in with yourself and ask, am I doing this because I want to, or am I doing this because society told me that I need to, or that this is what women are supposed to do, or this is gross on us, but not with men? I'm talking about body hair. Yeah, all of it. You're not just meant to endure and do uncomfortable things in order to fit beauty standards. You're not here to be a punching bag so you can say that you stuck beside someone. You are here to enjoy and to live. That's all.
So I find some of the answers here very interesting.
That stitch by AOC, that longer video, is exactly why sometimes I feel like good faith questions and good faith approaches are often unrewarding, because you might be going into good faith of trying to meet someone part of the way, and they are instantly seeing you as a combative force. And this is the thing that I find so frustrating, is like when we talk about how the term woke and how all of these, gamers or people who are, being put into this red pipeline through gaming and other things, and like why there isn't anything on the left in that sort of way, it's because of stuff like this. It's because if you try to do it as a woman, as a person of color, like the chances of you being as successful are much lower. Also, you're going to be heavily scrutinized. Also, if you make any mistake or make any compromise, you will be called names, because it is very unforgiving on the side of the internet anyway. But when you try to reach out to people in good faith, many times out of 10, I won't give a definite number, I'll let you think for yourself, but many times out of 10, they will act as though you asking them for a source is like a threat. But this isn't just a thing that happens on the right. I wanted to say this. In general, people act as though asking for a source, a citation, a clip, something definitive to prove that point is like an attack, or you're trying to say it doesn't really exist. It's like, no, girl, if you want to tell me that this person said this or this person did that or I did blah blah blah, it is all right to ask you for a source. It's okay to ask where the information came from. And it's really aggravating how, one, people don't know what a good source is or how to source things, but two, that people are so determined to hold on to their individual narrative that they are unable to acknowledge, oh, maybe I heard that wrong, or I read that wrong, or I didn't think about it wrong, or I didn't think about it properly. You know, like, that's a part of life. It's a part of life. Sometimes we read the wrong thing, we were misinformed, and we get an opportunity to correct that. And so many people are unwilling to do that.
Nothing will make me press not interested faster than you describing women as females in your video. Not interested. Block.
I know Jay is technically the patriarch of this family, but it's really Manny who's raising all these adults. Manny is the patriarch of Modern Family. He's the one putting in the work.
My favorite thing to do when somebody gives me attitude is to play dumb. Because I don't know who you're speaking to like that. Can't be me. I am absolutely obsessed with the Dancing with the Stars Pros Crazy in Love dance. I cannot scroll past it on TikTok. I will not scroll past it on TikTok. I will watch it every single time. It's so good!
Isn't it crazy that fangirls and the editing community literally control what movies and shows are popular? There are countless shows and movies that, I'm sorry, they are only popular because of fangirls. One edit has the power to make a movie or show blow up. For example, Rivals. Where did Rivals come from? I had never seen any advertisement for Rivals, and I am chronically online. Why did I watch Rivals? Because some girl posted a clip of Rupert biting his hand when Taggy walked in the dining room. Right? You know, like, why did you start watching Rivals? I guarantee it is because of the fangirl and editing community on TikTok. I don't think that whoever is in charge realizes the impact that we have on what is popular. Obviously, some shows are going to be popular regardless, but when a show enters into that like top 10 shows on a streaming platform, most of the time that doesn't happen until the edits start dropping. Like, I just think it is so fascinating because there are so many shows and movies I never would have watched if it wasn't for an edit or a clip that some girl posted on TikTok.
As a high school teacher, this last week has really shown me that we are failing our boys pretty hard. As the last line of defense before these kids get into adulthood, I really do feel like a part of our job is making sure that these kids are socialized and that they are respectful of just being in public when they graduate. But what we're seeing is 18 to 25-year-old men who are completely unsocialized, who are lonely, who are honestly incredibly crass. They make jokes that are not funny. At least the subject matter isn't funny. The joke, the punchline is rape. The punchline is death, it's murder, it's harm, it's racism. Like, that's the punchline. That's the purpose of the joke. Isn't this a funny joke because it's racist, because it's about rape, because it's this crazy thing that we're not allowed to talk about? And where's that starting? Where do they get in their head that this is something that they are okay to do out in public, just openly? Here. This is where it happens. What I'm noticing is that these kids aren't facing pushback. They're not facing pushback when they make seriously unfunny jokes. And when I say unfunny, I'm trying not to be subjective about it. I'm really trying to point out that, like, the joke is rape. The joke is death. Like, it's not a joke. It's at the expense of somebody who, as a teenage boy, you don't experience it. You aren't afraid of it. You're not a girl walking home alone at 10 p.m. in the dark, wondering if you're gonna even make it home. They're making those jokes here, in the classroom, in the hallway, to their friends, between classes, openly in the middle of class. And I don't know if it's happening in middle school. It's got to be happening in middle school, in my opinion. But when I as a teacher say something to them and go, hey, what the hell are you doing? Like, what's happening in your brain right now? They don't have an answer. They don't even seem to recognize why I'm even questioning them. They don't have pushback. Just this morning, a kid gave me the dirtiest look and flicked me off and then ran into another classroom because while he's walking through the hallway, he makes a joke about butt rape. And I just stop him. I go, what's funny about that? What's funny about it, bud? What's funny about rape? What's so haha about rape? What's so freaking hilarious about your friend being raped? And he just stared at me. He just stared at me, and then he got an attitude with me, and then he flicked me off. These kids need to be shamed. And I know that's not something that we really talk about, but the idea of public shaming has always been a thing that humans have done to make sure that social stuff works. And right now, we're not shaming these boys. We're not shaming them. They don't experience shame. They feel like they can do and say whatever they want. They can show up to class 20 minutes late. They can flick a teacher off. They can curse at you. And they feel this way. They feel emboldened. And right now, especially, they feel like no consequences are coming their way. And that's where we need to change. So this is really for, in my opinion, the male teachers out there. It is our responsibility to show them what being a man looks like, what being a man actually pertains to. It's not making crass jokes. It's not making girls feel bad. It's not laughing at people when they're down. It's being helpful. It's building people up. It's about being supportive. It's about being a rock when somebody needs it. None of these boys are prepared for that. None of these boys are living a life right now where that's where they're going. And honestly, based on the way that I see these boys react to female teachers, they don't respect them in that way. They just go, oh, wait, all right, mom, and then they just ignore them. It's us. It's you and me, bud. Like, me and you, we have to be the ones to be in their face and go, you're being a bad person right now. You are choosing to be a bad person right now. And I don't know why you're choosing that. I don't know what about your life right now puts you in a position where you feel like you could just be a jerk, where you can just make jokes at the expense of others, but it's not funny. It's not good. It's not right. Stop doing that. I don't know. I feel like the next couple years are going to be very long and very hard, but I'm not a fan of the back end of Gen Z. And we're about to start getting the start of Gen A, and we have to fix it. We have to fix it. We have to make sure these boys understand that running through the hallways and shouting "your body, my choice" is not okay. It's not right. It's not funny. I don't know who you're doing this for. There are no cameras here. You're not going to blow up on TikTok. You're just making women feel unsafe. Is that what you want to be doing? Is that the life you want to live? Is that the person you want to be? I don't think they do. I don't think that's who they want to be. So let's remind them of that. Let's actually take the effort to remind them of who they want to be in life. And then hold a mirror up to them and say, is that who you're being? I don't think so, bud.
You know, I honestly debated on saying this. But I really feel like someone needs to speak up.
I don't think you should have been the one to do it, though.
You know how fucking embarrassing it is
for you to make this video? I wish you would have known before you posted it.
To women overseas that actually don't have fucking rights. Do you know?
Fighting for rights, love, is not a competition. So the progress in one area does not diminish the need of progress in another area. We can care about different struggles at the same time. But since you care about the women who don't have rights in other countries, what are you doing to actively help that? Did this TikTok help?
You know how embarrassing it is to people who can't grow hair, who have cancer? Do you realize how fucking stupid you look shaving your head because you're throwing a temper tantrum?
So shaving your head could be a form of protest or a personal statement, especially when it relates to the 4B movement, love. It is not a mockery of people who cannot grow their hair due to an illness. What? This comparison is a false equivalency, and it takes the focus away from the actual reason of the protest, love. I don't think you actually understand the 4B movement, Bookie Boy.
Because you cannot murder a fucking child.
So the reason women of America decided to participate in the 4B movement was because the men who were so anti-abortion came out after the election to explain that they didn't care about abortion the whole time. It was just to control a woman's body, love.
I don't feel sorry for you in the least.
Well, that's normally how a man who hates a woman feels, so not a shocker.
I really fucking don't. It's absolutely fucking disgusting.
What you're saying in this video, I agree, completely disgusting. Remember how you started off saying you debated to make this video? I wish you would have debated a little bit harder and came out with a different result. This video should have been in the drafts.
The movement that you guys are doing, the 4B, whatever. I mean,
so critiquing a movement without understanding the goals of the movement is actually crazy. Maybe you should have looked up what the movement actually was and the purpose behind it, love.
It's great for conservatives. It's not gonna be hard to fucking spot you guys, fucking middle-aged women with bald heads.
And then what? Oh, you pointed her out. Then what? Are you gonna harass her? End up on a t-shirt?
Wearing blue bracelets, and yet you want to call conservatives the stupidest party?
Tell me what a tariff is, right now.
Give you a rundown real quick, since you don't know your rights. You can buy a car, you can buy a house, you have a job, you have the freedom of speech, you have the freedom of wearing whatever clothes you want to wear. You're not told how many babies you have to have, or can have.
Except they are. A 13-year-old girl who gets essayed by her father will be forced to have that child. And don't say, no, there's restrictions. Not in all states. Not in all states.
And it all comes down to the same cry of help. Men don't fucking care about us.
You literally just said, word for word, I don't feel sorry for you in the least. So would it be crazy for me to assume that you don't feel sorry?
That's because you're fucking terrible at picking men. And
oh yes, blame the woman and not the fucking man. She chose the wrong person to essay her. What the fuck is wrong with you?
let me end on this. Somewhere out there in the world, somebody just got a notification from a doctor saying that they only have 3 months to live.
It's so crazy that you brought this up because there are women that are dying and have died because a doctor could not give them medical attention because they were too scared of being charged with a crime.
And you're sitting here fucking whining about one little detail. The world does not revolve around you.
Again, it is not a competition. Telling someone their concerns don't matter because someone else is suffering more is fucking disgusting.
A lot of people are under this impression that maybe if we're nice enough to men, maybe if we educate them, maybe if we hold their hands while they oppress us, then we'll get something done with feminism. But that's just not true. It's not true. Which is why we have seen, yes, we have seen progress within the last couple of decades within feminism. Yes, we have. However, I guarantee you we would see a lot more if women weren't so fucking scared of letting men's hands go while they're fucking oppressing us and centering our own liberation so that how we do in society is not centered around what men think about us. That would be fucking fantastic. Trying to get them to see us as human, trying to appeal to their empathy, all of that shit, it doesn't fucking work. They have mothers, they have sisters, they have all those connections to women. They don't care. They don't fucking care. No matter how much you try to be a men's rights activist, no matter how much you try to make feminism out to be this fucking utopia for men too, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. And you look like a fucking pathetic patriarchy princess idiot every time you try to critique actual feminists that want to center women in a female liberation movement. We jump through hoops to try to convince them, you should give a fuck about us. And when that doesn't work, we're like, oh, but it's for you too. That doesn't work either. So center us, center female people, and let that be what it is, because nothing else is going to lead us to any sort of power. If getting men to see you as people is the type of power that you want, we are not on the same fucking page. I don't want women and girls' experiences in life to be determined by whether or not men can sympathize with us. I want our power to be achieved just from the fact that we are human and we deserve to have rights and we deserve to have power. And we should not have to get that by appealing to our oppressors and getting on our hands and knees and begging for it. Fuck that. I think another thing that women don't tend to understand is that the patriarchy is not this like invisible force. It is something that is actively upheld by the men that they love, the men that they will sacrifice everything for, the men that they spend countless hours and years of their lives catering to. They are upholding that system that hurts us so deeply. And that's something that it makes it very difficult to reconcile, at least for me, where it's like, how can I be okay with having men in my life that are not actively fighting against that are not actively fighting against my subjugation and the ways in which the world is harder for me to navigate as a woman. And we can make the argument that the patriarchy hurts men too, in the same way that when you punch someone, your knuckles hurt. But at the end of the day, it benefits them a lot more than it harms them. And that is why they are so fucking selfish that they are not willing to relinquish those benefits because they just value us so much that they would rather us have what we need and what we deserve. They're not willing to do that. They're not willing to do that. And once you understand that and have that perspective, it just gives you an outlook into the fact that the men around you, they love you, but it's to an extent, not more than they love themselves, not more than they love those benefits of the patriarchy, not enough to fight against those powers that exist. And it's really unfortunate. It's something that I think will always hurt me because I would do anything for the men in my life that I do care about. And if there was something that was actively hurting them so much, something that was risking their lives, something that made them more statistically likely to be sexually abused, physically abused, all of those things, I would do everything I could to dismantle that every day. I would not be able to sleep at night knowing that that system existed and I wasn't doing everything in my fucking power to get rid of it. But men just walk around, they're just happy, and so maybe they'll post something for Women's Day, or maybe they'll say her body, her choice, but it doesn't go much further than that. Even your most leftist men, their takes don't usually go much further than stuff that gives them more access to women's bodies and things that somehow make them not have to address their role and what they do that participates in the patriarchy and perpetuates this system and this societal expectation that hurts women. So yeah, it's really shitty when you start to really unpack that and you start to see the ways that they aid in the conditions that women and girls have had to live in for hundreds of years. Completely unsurprisingly, this male-centered, annoying-ass society has already found ways to wokely dismiss the 4B movement. And to be quite frank, I don't give a fuck about the criticisms. I don't. I really don't. And one really irritating thing about the internet is that you'll have a bunch of dumb-ass, deeply unintelligent, uninformed, just people that have never done any research about anything ever coming together and telling each other exactly so they feel so self-righteous and so emboldened in their stupid-ass claims. And they're just so far off from reality that it's batshit insane. Also, if you hear purring, I tried to record this without my cat. She's not having it, so deal with it. Anyways, no one's feelings getting hurt is ever going to matter to me more than women's safety. No one not feeling included will ever matter more to me than women's safety. Nothing in this world will ever matter to me more than women's safety. That is my priority. As a human, as a feminist, as another woman, I will never care more about anybody's feelings more than I care about women doing what they need to do in order to be the safest. Let's make that very fucking clear. And also, let's make another thing clear. Women choosing not to cohabitate or procreate or have relationships with the people that are statistically most likely to end their lives is not fascism. Learn what fucking words mean before you get on here acting all self-righteous and like you know what the fuck is going on when you really don't. Learn what words mean before you start calling things fascism and bioessentialists and things like that. Because if you knew a single fucking thing about radical feminism, you would know that that is the furthest thing from what it is. The furthest, the literal furthest thing from it. Radical feminism wants to get rid of all of these ideas about gender. It acknowledges that gender is a social construct that we do not need. If anything, liberal feminists are the ones that reinforce gender stuff without acknowledging it. There are no criticisms about the 4B movement that I care about more than things like what I'm about to show you. This, and this. And there are countless more examples, and things like this come out every single day. This is not a rare occurrence. Femicide is a real fucking thing. And no, there is no foolproof way to be safe as a woman, but we have to start somewhere. We have to start with decentering men and having as little of them in our lives as is possible, as is practical. And there are simple ways that you can do that. If you want to risk your life in order to be with your oppressor, go do it. But I think it is very, very ridiculous to try to talk other women out of it or try to find a woke way to dismiss the movement as a whole, because anything that keeps women out of proximity with the people that are statistically most likely to kill them, and it's not usually random people, it's usually their intimate partners, men, are causing harm to them. So let's keep that in mind before we get on here on our high horse talking about shit that we know nothing about that is just completely nonsensical. You guys are so obsessed, deeply obsessed with centering men in every fucking thing, that anything that is decentering them, anything that is giving women space from them and keeping them safer, makes you want to shit your pants. It makes you want to projectile vomit. And you need to analyze why that is. What is so weird about Sabrina? Like, I have no fucking words. But actually, I have a lot. Hold on. This is one of her tour outfits. What little kid do you see dressing like this so that I can report their parents to the authorities? Be so fucking for real. Her outfits are literal lingerie, and people are like, she's dressing like a kid, she's acting like a kid. She's doing sex positions on stage. What kid is doing that? I think it's so weird and so telling that you guys see stuff like that and you're like, oh, she's acting like a kid. What kids do you see acting like that? It actually makes me so uncomfortable that you guys want to insist so badly that she's acting like a kid and that she's dressing like one, because she's not. She literally wears lingerie every single day on stage and is doing sex positions and is talking about sex. And you guys are like, she's acting like a kid. She's doing like pedo bait and all that stuff. And it's like, you guys are the weird ones. You guys are the weird ones. The fact that you see a grown 26-year-old woman, or 25, however old she is, I think she's 25, dressed like this, and you're like, oh, that's a kid, or she's dressing like a kid, is really fucking weird. You're weird. You guys get introduced to someone when they are a child, and you expect for them to cater to that and be that for years and years and years and years. But no, this is a grown-ass woman that fucks. She has made it very clear that she fucks a lot. She is horny a lot. Like, this is an ovulation week queen over here. And you guys need to just accept that instead of coming up with all these weird little explanations and conspiracies and all that stuff. Like, it just makes me uncomfortable. Like, it's so fucking strange. She is grown. She is going to talk about grown things, and she's going to act like a grown woman. Like, you guys are weird. A lot of you feminists need to take it back to 101, because you're trying to have conversations with women that are on 202, or they're further along than you. They're further along than you because you went to get your feminist ideology from Twitter or Tumblr. And so you don't understand basic fundamental aspects of feminism, and you want to be ally of the fucking year so fucking badly that you're willing to ignore and shut down conversations that are really fucking important because you're worried about someone being excluded. But when we're talking about things that affect women, we should talk about things that affect all women. Yes. But how come when you guys say that we need to talk about things that affect all women, when we talk about things that affect certain groups of women, like cis women or whatever, you're like, oh, you're trying to exclude whoever? No, we just still need to talk about it. What's not clicking? We need to talk about female genital mutilation. It is a very big privilege to be someone in America talking about how, oh, it's turfism to talk about female genital mutilation too much. People that don't live here, women and girls that don't live here, they need us to be talking about it. They need us to give a fuck about them. Everything is not just centered around what affects white women or American women. Being a feminist means giving a fuck about women from everywhere, from all different walks of life, all of that shit. It's not just the shit that's easy to talk about, that's fun to talk about. It's not just my body, my choice. It's not just cute fucking slogans that you can put on a fucking t-shirt. It's talking about all of it. It's talking about child marriage, medical misogyny, abortion bans, sex trade, sex trafficking, all these things that are not based on how you identify as a gender, but are based on sex. That is something that is undeniable. They're not being oppressed because they identify as women. They're being oppressed based on their sex characteristics. Anyone that is affected, anyone that has female sex characteristics, female characteristics that is being perceived as a woman is going to be affected by these things. There's no way around that. And we need to have serious conversations about that without people being like, you're this phobic, you're that phobic. No, let's go back to Feminism 101 and let's talk about all the things that matter across the board for all the different groups of women from different ethnicities, different walks of life, different everything, regardless of gender identity, regardless of anything. Women are being oppressed based on their sex. That is what is happening, based on being perceived as women, based on having female sex characteristics, based on having all those different things. There are so many other things that factor into it, but that is the pinnacle of it. That is the center of it. It's not just because we identify as women. That is just an inarguable truth. That is the reality. And I don't give one single fuck about who can't digest that information, because that is reality. Women need us collectively to acknowledge their problems and not give a fuck who gets their feelings hurt about it, or who is like, what about me? What about me? What about me? This doesn't apply to me. How is this? Like, you have to be able to care about women collectively, so much so that even if it doesn't apply to every single woman that exists, you don't just write it off and decide that it's not worth talking about. That's not feminism.
Y'all liberal women are really starting to piss me the hell off. Do you know that there's women in other countries that can't even speak? They don't even have the right to speak or show an inch of their skin.
And don't act like you care. Don't act like you care. When have you ever advocated for those women? I'll answer for you. Never. Because you don't actually fucking care. You only brought that up to dismiss the feelings of women in America. That's the only reason.
And you're sitting here bitching about how you don't have the right to have an abortion on your freaking 30-minute lunch break.
So there are women that are dying because their doctors are too scared to give them medical attention because they're scared of going to fucking jail. And it's so crazy. The party that wants less government control is okay with the government controlling women's bodies. And I also think Donald Trump being legally liable of SA also plays a factor into it. Letting men know that they could sexually assault a woman and still become a president.
I find it funny how the left literally gets offended whenever you use their incorrect pronoun.
But you're getting upset because women are crying about losing their rights.
But you can sit here and shave your head to create a movement when there's people that lose their hair unwillingly because they have cancer that they are fighting. And there's women in other countries that can't even fight for their own freedom.
So why aren't you fighting for their freedom for them? Go on, fight for it. You don't actually care. That's why you won't. You're only going to bring them up to dismiss women in America.
And if they do, guess what happens to them? You really thought that the majority of the population were going to be okay with you using your abortion rights as birth control?
Do you understand birth control is going to be... And see, a napkin isn't even enough. I'm not going to hold your hand when I tell you this, but Google is fucking free. IVF will not be available. Contraceptives will not be available. Love.
Over us being able to feed our own damn children?
Please tell me how Trump is going to lower your prices. Because it's so fucking obvious that you failed economics, because doing mass deportations for the immigrants who actually provide the labor so that you can get those grocery items is going to make those items go the fuck up. And that's not even talking about the tariffs.
I think the absolute hell not.
Was the question, do you know how to use Google? Because That's the correct answer.
I'm so damn tired of
So go to sleep. Go take a fucking nap.
hearing people say, how can you be a woman and not vote for Kamala and vote for Donald Trump instead?
Yes, because how could you vote for someone legally liable of SA? Someone that said that they would fuck their child.
I voted for my children.
Donald Trump doesn't believe in climate change. Donald Trump is a fucking felon. Donald Trump is legally liable of SA. How is that vote going to help your child?
I voted because I am sick and tired of struggling. I voted because I am so sick and tired of the left valuing their freaking pronouns and their sexuality and their feelings over being able to freaking live.
It's so funny because this video is literally based off of your feelings and how you're so tired and you're so mad and you're so upset. But please tell me how Donald Trump is going to lower your fucking prices. Do you think he's going to sit in that Oval Office and say, well, eggs, 50 cents. Yep.
Okay? When we voted, it was facts over freaking feelings. And I don't care if your feelings are hurt anymore.
But you're talking about how upset you are. You want us to care about your feelings? I don't give a fuck.
We literally have liberals that are laying in the floor, kicking, screaming, crying, having a temper tantrum because Kamala didn't win.
Did we forget January 6th?
We literally have universities that are posting, talking about having quiet time for grown-ass adults after this election to play with freaking Legos.
Damn, self-care makes you fucking mad?
I voted for change, and I also think that it's time that this damn country, especially the left, grows a damn backbone.
So after all the insults over multiple years that MAGA have given to leftists or liberals, y'all cried over being called garbage. Love, I've been called fucking worse and laughed about it. But y'all cried about being called garbage. But it's funny that you say you voted for change. Look at the Google Trends. Y'all are asking how to change your fucking vote.
No, because if you are willing to cut off family, friends, anybody in your own personal life whose views don't perfectly align with yours.
Morals, love. Your morals don't align with mine, so you're absolutely correct. I will cut you the fuck off.
You're the problem right now.
Oh, I got the mirror for you.
You're the problem right now, and
I got the mirror for you.
I guarantee that kind of behavior will cause more of a divide in your own life than this election ever will.
Huh? Let me do it again. Hold on. Huh?
Okay? It's your true colors are showing.
Oh, I got the mirror for you.
I opened up Facebook this morning to so many posts saying, if you voted for this person, I don't care who you are, go ahead and unfriend me.
And did you unfriend them? Because we're absolutely serious, love.
I'm gonna let the trash take itself out.
Did that upset you? Did that upset you that somebody didn't want to be your friend because your morals are absolutely fucked?
Okay, girl. I do not care who you voted for, but
And I do. If you voted for Donald Duck, I don't want to be your friend. Period.
I do care how you're treating people who voted differently than you.
So you're mad that people don't want to associate with you because of your morals. Just like if somebody is a grapist, I don't want to be in their life. I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to associate with you because your morals are fucking different than mine.
And that's what it really boils down to. I have close friends in my life who I know voted differently than me. And I'm not unfriending anybody because of the way they voted.
Because they're unfriending you.
But I will be unfriending anybody who is like openly bashing and blocking their own grandma on the Facebook comments.
If my grandma is defending a grapist, racist, wannabe dictator, she absolutely will be blocked. I don't know why people think just because someone is family that you have to always fucking defend them. Always fucking no. Blocked.
Because that is telling me all I need to know about you as a person.
No, defending Donald Duck lets me know everything about you, and that's why I don't want to associate. Thank you.
And fuck you too.
Girl, what?
We don't care. We don't care.
I really love that you say, we don't care. I don't care. Girl, you cared enough to make a whole ass stitch.
I will vote felon for the rest of my life before I will ever vote for someone who tells somebody that they're at the wrong rally for saying Christ is king and Jesus is Lord. Felon all the way, honey.
Oh, imagine being proud of voting for a felon. Couldn't be me.
I should have been a felon.
Mm-hmm. The unhingedness in your eyes tells me so.
Have a good day.
Okay. You really thought you ate me up with that one, didn't you? But if that was the case, why did you delete your video mere minutes after uploading it? Here you are. And that little symbol shows that your video is no longer available. What happened, Gen X Aunt Cat? Aren't you proud of your video? Aren't you proud that you voted for a felon? So next time you want to make a video stitching me and, coming directly at me, just say it with your chest. Keep that shit up. Like, don't run scared after you posted it. And I already got the notification that you did post it. But I will say, that shit was funny. It gave me the laugh that I needed today.
But saying that she's fatphobic continuously when the entire time period of the show was fatphobic to the point that there was exactly one fat character on... Sorry, my mistake. 3 fat characters on the...
So I'm doing a rewatch of Gilmore Girls right now, and it's my first rewatch since I wrote an essay about like the attitudes toward food and bodies on Gilmore Girls. And what's so interesting is I'm only in season 2, and I've been noticing that it gets so much more fatphobic, 1 in the revival and 2 as it goes on. And what's really interesting about Gilmore Girls that I don't think it actually gets enough credit for is like people were not doing this in the 2000s. They were not having a fat supporting character who got married and had a normal life and had a job and had a personality outside of just fat stereotypes. Like, Suki is an ADHD queen, and while that may like dovetail with fat stereotypes, it's never attributed to her body, and there's never any comment made about her body in the entire show. Do you know how rare that was for 2001 to 2007? That was unheard of. And something that I have started thinking about watching this show is that I keep forgetting that Amy Sherman-Palladino is an edgelord. Don't forget that when you watch Gilmore Girls, because if you look at like some of her comedy that she does in the revival, she is pulling out those fatphobic jokes in a time period where it was not okay to say. Versus in the original Gilmore Girls, everybody was doing it. And so she mostly didn't. With the ballerina episode and some one-off jokes being notable exceptions. But what's interesting about those jokes is I think they reflect, and I think Gilmore Girls reflects a lot of people's attitudes toward fat people, which is that, oh, the ones in my life, those are regular people. But then like there's this sort of nameless, faceless, like blob of fat people out there that's like those are the bad ones, and like we're gonna make fun of all fat people, but we don't recognize the fat people in our own lives as fat people. I have more to say about the portrayals of specifically Miss Patty and Babette, especially Miss Patty, and that's another video. Let me know if you want me to make that one. But I do think overall, just the very existence of Suki, and also there were fat men on that show too. I mean, Richard Gilmore is not small, Taylor Josie is not small, like, and their appearances are never mentioned. And I think it's really interesting that this creator only shout out the 3 fat female characters in Gilmore Girls when there are fat men. It's just that we don't see fatness as the only thing about a man in the same way that we do about a woman. And while I would argue that like fatness is not the only thing about Suki and Miss Patty and Babette, especially Suki, I do definitely agree that it's from a fatphobic time and it should be read that way. However, because it's from this time, it should also be read as like incredibly subversive for its time in this area, weirdly enough, which I know that's a low bar and like it certainly wouldn't pass whatever representation bars we have today, but like it's literally the best fat representation I ever saw pre like 2010. Like before, I mean, maybe Drop Dead Diva, which like also explicitly deals with fatness, but it is still so rare to see a fat character who's not defined by their size, who just exists, who has a normal life and a normal job and a normal relationship and kids and friends and is like a full human being in Suki. Like, I am so much more appreciative of that on this watch. I guess because maybe the bar is lower for me now because I like think of it as a fatphobic show, but I honestly think that where it started to get a lot more fatphobic was where, one, okay, so Amy Sherman Palladino obviously was much more held back by the constraints of a network TV show when the first show was being made, so that might be a factor, but I also think that she's just an edgelord. Like, she wants to say things that'll piss people off and things that are provocative and things that people are afraid to say. And the original Gilmore Girls, in many ways, is kind of like that. And in one of those ways in which it's like that is she didn't cave to the obvious fat jokes that were right there about having a fat chef character in your show. But then in the revival, they go for those jokes because at that time, those jokes were not okay to say. So I just think it's really interesting. They don't lay it on thick. There are fat jokes in the original Gilmore Girls, but not to the level of the revival. And what's always confused me is that fat joke scene in the revival at the pool. That feels like a level of fat joke that belongs in 2003. But in 2003, they weren't going for it as hard. And especially in seasons 1 and 2, there were not that many fat jokes compared to the later seasons too. So I just think it's really interesting that as the show goes on and as cultural attitudes toward bodies become more about like being polite to each other, and we became more aware of this like heroin chic trend and eating disorders, like it started being less okay. And that's when Amy Sherman Palladino goes, no, let's make fun of the fat guy for being at a pool. I think she's just an edgelord, but her edgelord tendencies created one of the best fat characters of all time in Suki, and I will die on this hill.
When women are lonely, they join a book club. When men are lonely, they become fascist and blame women for it? Okay.
Strap the fuck up, bitch, because I have a lot to complain about today. So I finally decided to drop out of college because what the fuck is college? Like, genuinely, what the fuck is college? Like, you fucking stupid ass bitches. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to people who I went to high school with and family members and shit. You fucking stupid ass bitches told me, oh my god, college is gonna be the best years of your life. You're gonna find yourself. You're gonna have so much fun. Girl, I'm starting to think I peaked in high school because what the fuck is going on? This shit has been fucking ass. I've talked to people and people are like, this is nothing like what anybody said it was gonna be. This shit has been fucking horrendous. I hated the school that I was at before, which is why I left. I also hated living with people. Like, genuinely, I hated it so much. I still talk to certain, like, girls that I live with, but, like, they knew. Like, they literally knew that I hated it. I was such a miserable Mary there. I would, like, girl, this Jada that you see now, she may not be the best, but the Jada at the school I was at before, oh, bitch, boom. She was not a good time at all, in the slightest. Is that a bug? No, it's not. Yeah, so what the fuck is college, and why did you bitches fucking lie to me and say that it was gonna be great? It is not. I also just don't see the fucking point of it. I feel like we're relearning everything that we talked about in high school. Gen eds are stupid. My major is stupid. Every major, except for, like, fucking nursing and, like shit that saves people's lives. Like, I don't know, being a fucking lawyer. All the other shit seems fucking stupid to me. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the dumbest, like, I'm wasting my goddamn fucking money, and I'm gonna have to pay it back, bitch. I have to pay this loan back. Oh, get the fuck out of here. I'm not finishing school. I just told my mom, and I was really, like, I had to go to the bathroom because I was brought to tears over it, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I really don't. I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills. I don't, bitch. I really don't. But I can't do school. Because to me, school is actually the hardest thing in the world. As dramatic as that sounds. I cannot do it. I also always tell my sister, I am not fucking good at anything that makes you money. She's like, you're good at TikTok. Okay, TikTok is not like, I'm not like these white TikTokers that like have one get ready with me blow up and then their bills are set for the rest of their life. I'm not like that. Like, what the fuck? It's like TikTok is, sure, it's cool. I could make money off of it. I could try and take it seriously. But, like, I don't know. I think I just want to be good at something that's, like people are like, oh, like, you're good at that. Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I want validation. I literally just want validation for myself. I have never, ever, ever gotten validation for myself, ever. Like, I literally want my approval so bad. I would suck a dick for it. Like, I want my own fucking approval so bad. You bitches don't understand. And I have never once gotten that. I've never gotten my own approval before, and I don't know why. I literally, well, I do know why, because I'm a bum. Like, I literally give everything zero effort. I never, like, yeah, I can't think of a single thing that I've given my all. Maybe back when I did gymnastics, but bitch, that was, what, 6 years ago? I quit 6 years ago. That was the one thing I think I've ever been dedicated to, genuinely. And bitch, you might ask, where are you getting ready to go? Nowhere. Nowhere. All I ever do is sit in my room and lose my motherfucking mind. And every Saturday I go to my little class that I'm too embarrassed to tell people about. That is what I do. That's literally what my life consists of. I work. I don't do my assignments. I literally just stopped doing all my assignments. I swear to God. I haven't done an assignment in almost a full week. And as we all know in college, that's all it takes. That is all it takes for you to literally fail the fuck out. Like, they're so fucking strict. It's not like high school. You don't get a fucking pass, bitch. You don't. Haven't done a single fucking assignment. And you know what? I don't care. That's my issue. I don't give a flying fuck. Like, literally, if they were to email me and say, hey, Miss Almeida, you have failed out, I'd get down on my knees and praise Jesus. I would. And that is why I know, I'm like, okay, well, clearly I shouldn't go to fucking college, like, because why the fuck would I be that happy if they told me that I just failed the fuck out? Like, girl. And I think every time I bring up, like, ulterior, I don't even fucking know if that's, like, a phrase. Different options other than college, the first thing out of everybody's mouth is you'll never make as much money, you'll never be as happy, you'll regret it 10 years down the line, you're gonna wake up one day and think, oh my God, I should have just finished, and then you're eventually gonna have to go back, and then that's gonna be even worse, because you're gonna be going back later in life. And my mom, I'm talking to her, and she's saying all this shit, and I'm like, okay, well, like, no shade, like, I literally think, like, I was like, I have no motivation, so if I don't drop out, I'll definitely fail out, because I don't care. And she's like, well, why don't you do a trade? Do I look like I want to do a trade? I don't want to be rude, because we're talking about my mother here, but girl, you know your child. You know I don't want to do no trade. Oh my God, I'm literally getting annoyed. Like, I'm actually getting annoyed. I'm getting very, 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 very annoyed, because I feel like college was shoved down my damn throat like a dick, and I wasn't ever given any other option. People were like, you either do a trade, college, or the military. And I'm like, girl, there has to be other options than those three things. Like, that cannot be it. So in conclusion, bitch, what the fuck is on this? I'll never amount to anything in life, because I have no work ethic. I'm a bum, and I give up when things get a little too hard. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this 5-minute long get ready with me. I will, if you watch this to the end, oh, bitch, we're homegirls for life. I'll talk to you bitches later. I promise I'll be normal tomorrow, and you won't have to hear about my yapping and continuous complaining ever again. That's a lie. You will, but not about this topic ever again, I swear. Okay, bye.
Hey, Grace has been cast. Yeah, we know. Woo, so exciting. I'm done. I am done sitting here and watching all of y'all be so freaking fake on social media about, oh, I'm so excited to see them in that role. Like, no matter what these people look like. And I am here to set the record straight. I am here to, like, address the blatant problem that has been in Percy Jackson casting since our very first casting announcement. Their blatant problem, especially in all of the female characters that have been cast, and I am done not talking about it. None of y'all are going to, so I'm gonna say it. Why in the world are we only casting models with gorgeous curly hair? This is an unattainable standard. Casting one child cast member with better hair than I'll ever have, that's okay, that's fine, that's acceptable. All of them, every single one of them has gorgeous curly hair, and you have not dropped a tutorial. You have not told us a Percy Jackson cast in-depth tutorial on how Dior does her hair, on what Leah does in her hair, what Walker. This is ridiculous. It is getting out of hand. Some of us have dreamed of being extras in the show since before it was even conceived, and this is not going to cut it if you keep casting supermodels. Drop the Crow routine or stop dropping casting announcements. This is my final straw. That is my ultimatum, and I will not accept anything else.
Stop talking down on SpongeBob like you fucking know who he is, first of all. You're talking about, oh, SpongeBob has good friends. SpongeBob has good friends. Girl, fuck you. He does not have good friends. He does not have good friends. Have you seen his friends? Patrick is a bitch. He does not admire SpongeBob. He is jealous of SpongeBob. Of everything. From his personality, from his intelligence, from his awards, from everything. Sandy's not a good friend. Don't fucking bring that stupid fucking squirrel around me. She's dumb. Everybody's like, no, but she's literally a rocket scientist. No, but she's dumb when it comes down to common sense and treating other people. Especially with SpongeBob. They both push him to his limits. Mr. Krabs will push him past his limits. All of them. You want to know who doesn't fucking do that shit? Squidward. And I know he fucks up. That's why he's a homosexual for him. I know he fucks up. But at the end of the day, he still respects SpongeBob, and he makes that shit up for him. And he says sorry when he needs to. Those other fucking bitches don't say that shit. SpongeBob has to say sorry. When they fuck up, he has to say sorry, and he over-apologizes. When he's near Squidward, he don't do that shit. He don't do that shit. Yeah, and you want to fucking talk about, oh, but Squidward, da-da-da, this and that. Fuck you. Every single time SpongeBob is in danger, he goes to Squidward. Every time that he is in danger, straight to his house, is he not? Oh, but the houses. No, are you fucking blowing me? You can't say that he can't go whoop if he was really in danger? Fucking 5 feet away? Don't blow me. Don't blow me on this. Don't blow me on this. That shit pisses me off. He wants Squidward. Squidward wants him. It is a mutual relationship. He acts like he's all kiki in it. Okay? He acts like he don't fucking want it. He wants that cookie really fucking bad. What are you? The fucking mean girl at the fucking sleepover? What fucking are you? The fucking fun police? I think society is fucking bizarre right now and upside down. I mentioned SquidBob just a little bit, and I have thousands of people going, oh, had me in the first half. Oh, this is not what I owe. No, what are we owing about? Like what? Are you the anti-Santa? Like, what are we talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are we talking about? I thought we were all on the same page. I'm a little hurt right now. What are we talking about? And we could have Tragic Yowie any other time, Death Note, Hannibal. But when it comes to SpongeBob, are we serious? Are we serious? Are we serious? A little SquidBob and you're hurt? You got soft hands, brother. Some people are shipping fucking Mr. Krabs with SpongeBob. Nobody says nothing. But when I mention Squidward, everybody's remix on it. That's how I feel about it.